Welcome back. On our online forum at perrysound.com, we like to collect questions from the public for our guests on In Question. And today we've collected three for Mr. Adams. The first comes from Grey Ghost, who's a regular visitor on our website. And Grey Ghost says, I would like Richard asked if the municipality ever plans on pressuring the upper levels of government to have Imperial Oil clean up their brownfield on our Georgian Bay shoreline and do something with that eyesore there.
Actually, the answer is yes and no, and I say that we're with respect to the fact that we are in negotiations with Imperial Oil, and also with the developer and with the both the provincial and federal government, with respect to the brownfields legislation to try and deal with the contaminated areas and allow development. In and around the contaminated areas, but leave the contaminated areas as park space or just a public space for people. So that way you don't have to conform to the very rigorous elements of converting brownfields into livable spaces.
We should probably explain that, correct me if I'm wrong, but Imperial Oil owns that land, and they're reluctant to relinquish that land in case they become liable later on if there's some pollution-related problems.
Yeah. And the problem is that not only Imperial Oil but other users of waterfront lands have been allowed to pollute them over the years, and then there's no real requirement to have them come to the table to remove the contamination, and so it's left on the backs of whoever the owner is.
So right now, what's trying to be done is to change legislation so that previous owners like Imperial Oil won't be held liable if there's a problem?
Yes, but allow the development and to have the remediation done at today's level of the legislation. And if the legislation changes in 10 years, there will be no requirement to upgrade that remediation process.
Our next question comes from Bailey, who's our moderator at perrysound.com. She does an outstanding job and has played a big role in making that forum what it is today. And Bailey has asked what progress is being made surrounding the bus system in town.
Well, I think good progress. We've had several meetings, and we're waiting for a meeting with Hammond. Actually, we've requested it for this week, and we're going to start the bus service sooner rather than later, and we're going to work through a similar route that we had during the Christmas trial, and we're also going to be visiting some of the businesses to see if they would help to fund the project, and so I think it's a matter of sooner or later with the public bus transportation system.
So you've had some interest from private business and
some of the private business people have indicated to me personally that they would be willing to make a contribution.
So last we heard there was the trial bus ran for a couple days in December and January, I think.
No, 2 days, 2 weeks prior to Christmas.
Prior to Christmas. Yeah. What's been done with the results from that trial?
Well, from those results, we've determined that yes, it is a viable system, and the intent is to start it again 2 days a week and probably build to 3 in the summer and change the route in the summer to include the Bay Street and the waterfront area. And we're looking at the 2 days we're looking at for this time instead of Friday and Saturday are going to be Tuesday and Saturday, and that way we can accommodate some of the seniors who have functions at the seniors center on Tuesdays, and we're going to be flexible in the route insofar as if there's a stop that's not practical, we will change it. So the pilot project will be a work in progress in terms of trying to fine-tune it.
And a big part of that will be finding ways to pay for it. That's the biggest hurdle, I guess, when it comes to public transportation.
Well, the town is prepared to. We have put $30,000 into this year's budget, and that will cover the the cost of the bus. We will continue to charge people $2 a trip, and If the bus is, if the number of days expand, then of course more dollars have to come in.
Right.
And that's why we're starting small. We don't want it to not be a success, and we want it to meet the needs of the people in the community.
And another question from Bailey. What progress has been made, if any, in regards to the accessibility problems in the town for the disabled?
That one's a little more challenging. As everybody knows, there are 2 accessible buses, one at Belvedere and one at Lakeland, and they both have contracts with the Ministry of Health with respect to their usage, and there are some limitations in that. I have a meeting next week with AMO, and I'm going to meet with one of the senior policy advisors to see if AMO can set up a meeting with and coordinate a meeting with the Ministry of Health and the ministry that's handling the accessibility legislation to work through the issues and the constraints in the usage of the Belvedere and the Lakeland bus, and if those agreements have to be modified, and the town has to come to the table with third-party insurance, those kinds of things, then we're prepared to do that, and we have also put $30,000 into a separate budget for accessibility transit, and of course Hammond has a accessible bus that that will be made available to us as well.
On Tuesday, Council passed a resolution asking Near North Schools to explain some problems we're having in our local schools, and we'll talk about that when we come back in just a minute.